of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good afternoon and welcome to an I-Had moment to calm before the storm. I'm your host, Minister Idris Taha, and with me again we have my brother and partner, Brother Fakil Abdul Aziz, Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, and off-site and off the camera is Holy Queen Mother Rabbi Saleem. May Jesus peace and other blessings be with the body of Christ's presence. We got part of our community. Here's where A.H.A.D believers out here in the audience. May Jesus peace and other blessings be about your presence as well. And those who always watch this program and tune in, may the Lord's peace and other blessings be about your presence. It's always a pleasure sitting here with the Holy Apostle, Holy Queen, my brother. And Ahezaah always give us good conversations, things that we think about as we go through the course of the day, living our lives, striving to surrender to the Lord Most High in this path of the way. And one of the things we'd like to touch upon this day, is women. And I know we say the topic women, most of the time when men speak about women, it's most of the time in a negative or put down this type of attitude. But we see in this day and time, as Ahezaah prophesied in his holy books, that in this hour of the day, they would give women positions of prominence, raise them above men, give them a position that men can never get in this society. And as a culture of our people, as African Americans, or as Ahezaah said, Afro Americans, that they raise up the African American women above the man, give them positions of status, and in that throw off the balance between and harmony between men and women. So we think on to deal on a topic like that today in this course in this hour. May the Lord bless you to sit back and enjoy. People here, got questions, you can throw them out. You feel free. With that, Brother Fakir, Holy Apostle.
If I may.
Oh,
yes, you may.
Yes, so bold. Just a thought at that. May I use this piece another I guess it's a potentially controversial subject, particularly with the women, with the female class out there. But I remember, Lord, there's a lesson concerning the relationship between the male and the female, between women and men, with regards to how that relationship corresponds to humanity relating itself to the Supreme Lord of all worlds, Ahezaah. And it's not always a matter that it's a question of equality. My understanding is that it wasn't a question of whether one is more equal or greater than the other, but the purpose of their positions in society was for the purpose of order. How the Quran explains that the man is a degree above the woman, but Lord, you gave us the expression that is just solely, simply for the purpose of order, having an order, and where there's a certain responsibility on the male, there's clearly an equal and a great and very, very just as important responsibility on the women too in their roles in society. So we, that's one thing that strikes me to put to the audience. We are talking about order, and an order that's set forth by order that's set forth by the Creator of both male and female.
Yeah,
the Creator, the fashion of it.
Yeah. Well, there's one important thing that I did mention, which Ahezaah said to me, is that when you have, when it tags you as having a greater responsibility, or you above, like for instance, take for instance us being vicegerents of earth.
right.
Vicegerents meaning the deputies of earth itself, the Lord's deputies, as to where we supposed to be taking care of the earth instead of destroying the earth.
Right.
Okay, so it has made us a stage above the earth itself.
Okay.
It said to me that when it relates someone as being stages above something else, such as the angels and stages above man, then the responsibility to that which is above is greater than that which is below. In other words, Ahezaah itself is above everybody and everything. So it has the greatest responsibility to everything beneath it. It has the greatest responsibility to all creation.
Right.
You feel me?
Yes, sir.
Because without its service, then we would fail. Well, when it put man a stage above the woman and woman stages above the children, that meant that man had a greatest duty to perform than the woman and the children. The woman had a greater duty to perform than the children.
Right.
You understand? And can I finish?
We have a question.
No,
People gonna be looking at you like you crazy, like who he talking
She over there signaling me to go and stop, and she want to say something. I recall last week she was on for about 15 minutes, and I was patient and I didn't say a word. Well, I gotta let certain of our fans, our audience know, because they said I talk too much. They gotta know that they sister talk. And them women was on my case, right?
yeah, they were.
But the thing, getting back to the subject, is that the responsibility of the woman is a great responsibility for the whole humanity.
Yes.
Because if the woman don't fulfill her responsibility as a mother and the wife and the teacher, then what's gonna happen to humanity? Humanity gonna fall. Now, what we got going on in this modern day and time, because this is the day of revelation, the day of great and dreadful day of the Lord, which was promised us. Thank you. We got this thing like the people inside them had going on. Women was equal to men. Men was had fell down to the level of trying to be women. Homosexuality was running rampant, and rampage and rampageously, I should say.
Right.
And the Lord did not appreciate it. Right. Now, people in this society today, you say is a controversial conversation. It should not be a controversial conversation. Because the Lord established this here.
That's right.
It should be a religious conversation. Right. What's the content of the religion? Not just one religion, but all the religion. Right. All the words of wisdom that the Lord has sent down as a covenant, as an agreement with man for man to uphold. That's where it should lie. It shouldn't lie in controversy. It should lie in reteaching. Reestablishing, reminding people where we supposed to be as human beings, and stand against what man has fell to because of him being led by the devil unseen, the Satan unseen. As to where men want to be soft and womanly, and women want to be hard and manly, and then two women want to raise children, or two men want to raise children, and knock off the complete balance of society, of humanity. You feel where I'm coming from?
Well, let me just say this here, and I'm not off camera because I'm afraid about this conversation. I'm only joking.
Well, anybody watching the show knows
she ain't a woman.
Everybody knows you.
Yeah.
But
you straight up.
To break it down in layman's terms, is if you just take your own life and you look at things. Now, once women got out of the start seeking to be equal to men, it has thrown off the balance of life. Once women thought it was cool to hang in bars, to be out in the streets and what have you, then of course the children became neglected at home. There was no one there teaching and keeping a structure in there. Then you have, and my children, used to fuss with me, but now that they're older, they can see what I'm talking about. There's an order that I used to set up. When you go out of order, it throws off the balance. Now the mother's there taking care of home, raising the children. Yes, nowadays we have to work. That's because of society. We have a lot to do with how society has swing to the way where a woman has to work, because we want so much more now than we did before. So now we have to, our needs is no longer enough for us. It's our wants go beyond our needs,
Right.
and so we have to go ahead.
Go ahead, finish that. As soon as you get to your point.
Our wants go beyond our needs, and so now the society is a capitalistic society. So now they seduce you in every way they possibly can, so that they can stay in a quote status. So now you do have both parents that have to go out and work. At one time, you had people in the backwoods. I know that my great grandparents
Okay,
never.
let me cut you off before you go into Virginia and everything.
Somewhat smoke.
But we going back to a religious thing now.
Right.
You understand? There's a law. It's not just an order that Ahezaah is giving us, but there's a law that we must live by, and it is the reality of the law. Ahezaah is the reality of the law. So no matter what man does, no matter what man decides to do and make it his law or her law over Ahezaah's law, the reality is that man is going to suffer for breaking that law.
Right.
Right.
Women are going to suffer, and men are going to suffer, and children are going to suffer. Now, they may not suffer immediately, but in the long run, they're going to recognize their suffering. Or I should say, they may not recognize their suffering immediately.
Right.
But in the long run, they will recognize their suffering, because this society and the world at large is suffering like hell. And when you think about the Lord allowing AIDS virus to go out, and I don't care who was putting it in, supposedly putting it in whose country, the Lord has allowed this curse to come about. You understand? It says it's going to destroy the world. People are out of order on purpose, you know? But you have some women today complaining now because they angry with the actresses who out there putting up a performance, acting like they can whip up, 102-pound women acting like they can whip up on 350-pound men, in them theaters.
Yeah.
And they said we can't be like them. On the real side,
right.
You have a lot of women who have got that repercussion.
Yeah.
And they said, hey, this is too much for us.
Yeah.
You feel me? On the real side.
Right.
Oh, definitely.
So now back to what I was saying.
Go ahead.
Without this order being in place, if you look at your family structure, your older children don't want to be the older children anymore. They don't want to take on the responsibility of being the oldest child. With age structure comes responsibility. So now you have your children, the younger children, that has no one outside of the parents that's a good role model for them as well. Mm-hmm. So now it's like a domino effect. Everything starts falling out of place. And then you look 20 years later and you say, what happened to my family?
Right.
Well, that's because
The order was broken.
Wasn't kept in
And by them
place.
seeing and respecting that first order, the mother and the father in that family.
And let me just add this here, because this is one thing I really don't want us to forget. There has been a diabolical war
Definitely.
against the masses of the people.
Yeah.
And it first started out as a diabolical racial war. Whites against blacks, Caucasians against African Americans.
Right.
Okay? Let's not forget that. Now, the thing about the reality of the law, whatever you put forth, it's going to bring it back to you.
That's right.
Now, with people trying to destroy another race of people, they receive repercussions of that themselves. Then their people get out of order. You feel me?
Oh, yeah,
now,
definitely.
we were purposefully led into this thing where they made the African American men appear to be less than the African American women.
Right.
That was done by design.
Definitely.
Put all the men in jail, put situations up there to make it hard for them so that they would break the law and land in jail. And they knew they was doing this, and then promote the women and give them higher paying jobs Let them get into the corporate field first, and then our people who made it, the brothers who made it, they got them so soldiered up that they can't even turn around and help us.
Exactly.
Because once they get in position, they say, well, if I help them, they're going to take my money. They're going to take my position. So I can't help my people. All my people ignorant anyway. Well, we ignorant and foolish and uneducated by design.
Right. Exactly.
It's all by design. And this whole society, and it has spread out through the world, it's fallen because of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Definitely. It's been a genesis for a long time from them separating us as a
genocidal war, yeah.
As a family. And now, as Holy Queen and Holy Apostle was saying, that people, especially our people today, because we want the wants above needs, our people have a tendency now to even put the children even to the father to the back burner.
Oh, yeah.
And the order has become greater distress. One of the people that we look at on television, you know, like he said about the movies, have a great impact on the psyche of our minds. And our people want to be able to fight the women. Go out there and fight now. They just passed a law in this country alone, under this presidency here, of this called a Ledbetter law. Where this woman said she get back pay equal to the man's pay because all the years of her doing the same type of job.
Right.
You know? But at the same token, all those African American men that have suffered in between that have gone incarceration, haven't got jobs, who have the skills, and they'll raise up a woman instead of a man because that keeps us even greater gap. So that affects the woman in her mindset now. I don't need a man now. I don't need him because I'm making the money. And then she have a man, then she want to castigate him and treat him a certain way, just to take disrespect to him and taking from him what his stature really should have always been with the Lord. But our people, as religiously as Allah have been speaking on this conversation, that we have, like I said, as men have broken the order from the very beginning, disobeying the Lord Most High.
Right.
So we get the repercussion,
right.
And this is the effect that the
there
Lord coming down
there
now.
You go.
And,
you know?
and a lot of people, you know, just like you're saying about this law, and I'm not taking it to politics.
No,
You gotta,
No, we talking about
It was-
the
yeah,
higher,
you
the
gotta
higher
look
order.
at, you gotta look at how Ahezaah do things.
Right.
And people, Ahezaah do not leave us out here blindly.
No.
But people refuse to see.
Yeah.
Just like Obama went in there and made that law for women,
It was for women.
they get their equal pay, back pay for being paid less money than a Caucasian man
It was a
doing the
Caucasian
same
woman,
job.
right.
Right.
At the same
Right.
time, while he was doing that, he could have easily put in
Of
there
course.
for the African American to
Americans,
receive the
same
same justice.
Same back pay.
But-
Same
Well,
justice.
you know,
Right.
Again,
but you forget.
That's not-
You forget
I didn't forget.
his speech.
No.
When
Yeah,
he said he
right.
wasn't going to
Change,
change
right,
anything, the order that's in that
Right.
was written for under the Constitution for the people, not the 3/5 of a man,
Right.
but those people who they was relating to, the Caucasians. He's not going to change the
Right.
spirit, the drive, the energy, the direction that they were always going, and he's not
Right.
going to make no special consignments for African American
Exactly.
people. Our people didn't hear that.
We don't want to hear it.
You understand?
Yeah.
We don't
They
want
didn't
to-
hear it. But let me just say this here on the real side too. From my experience of working with women,
Okay.
and this is not to degrade women,
Right.
but it's just a natural order, and some of the sisters might want to curse me for it, but they know it's true.
Oh yeah.
It's just a natural order for a man to help a sister out
Sure.
when
Right.
she's doing certain
Something.
things.
Right.
In all our jobs, you know, you say, hey, I got that, sister. I got that, sister. Let me help you with that.
Yeah.
Ain't no brothers coming to me saying, I got that, brother. And all the jobs I had, I got that, brother. Let me help you out.
Right.
It's always been, I got that, because I did it myself.
Right.
Sister, that's too heavy. You're going to suffer later on, man. You're going to, you know, what about when you had children and, you know, let me grab that. Boom.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So it has still haven't really been equal.
Right.
Huh?
That's true.
That's where we go back to women trying to play the role as a brother.
Yeah, they getting it both ways.
I'm not
you
saying
know,
that
having
there's
their
not
cake and
jobs
eating it
that
too.
we can't have that a man have. I'm not saying that. But there's a order. You know, there's an order. Our bodies is not even
Well, you know, it's
structured
the greatest harm. It's not the job itself.
Right.
It's the mental outlook.
There you go.
Right.
Right.
It's the mental outlook of the people.
Yeah.
You understand? When they first started getting real heavy some years back, I was still opening doors for women in the 90s.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when I caught a bus, this is back in the 80s.
Okay.
I caught a bus and I got up to let somebody have my seat, and the lady looked at me like she could spit on me, and then let some brother take my seat.
Yeah, on the opposite side, you have to be careful. You get up, a brother might slip in behind you. And
Well, she
That's
looked at
what-
me
right.
like, I don't need your seat.
Right.
Right.
And then
That's
the
more
brother
look at
came and took my seat, and I said, damn. You know?
Yeah,
Okay, so because I wasn't out dealing with society, because for a long time, many years, decades, man, I ain't been out there. You know?
Right.
But I had to see what was going on. You know, open the door for a woman and she looked like she wanted to beat me up. Now this has happened numerous times, at least 5, 6, 7 times.
Right.
Before I said, okay, don't open the doors for no women.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You know?
And you know the funny thing about it is my daughter taught me something a few weeks ago, and I always leave myself open to learn.
Mm-hmm.
She had a conversation with me, and after we finished the conversation, I was like, wow, she just told me something. You know, and the thing is, we have allowed society to really take us down, women. You know, we have listened to the song, the clothes I wear, I brought them,
Well, it started out
all
with
this stuff they
my
feed us
guardian
about.
sister when she was saying,
Ain't nothing
ain't
going
nothing
on,
going on
but
with
the
the rent.
We listen to all
You
these
know?
lyrics, and then Caucasian people put us in a certain status, and then we start living like that. And we get to a place, and you have to really sit back, sisters, and think about this here.
True. Yeah.
When you go out and buy yourself a piece of jewelry, how do you feel? And then if a man turn around and buy you a piece of jewelry, if you really stuck, I know me, if I buy myself something like that, I can't appreciate it as much. But if a man brought me a piece of jewelry, I could say, oh, we have lost that. We have lost the appreciation of someone else, not just men. We have lost the appreciation for people doing for us because we think that this I thing is where we supposed to be. And I was always told that I is nothing but your ego. But we have lost the purity, the how can I say, our soft side, our sensitive side, and all this I.
Well, you know, Rabbi, from your perspective, I understand that.
Right.
But your perspective is not the normal perspective no more.
True indeed. That's what I was about to say. Right.
You know, you have a balance where the general population do not have a balance.
Right.
Some sisters would rather another sister buy her a gift or some jewelry than a brother.
Yeah. That's where we are now.
That's where we at, you know? And then you have sisters overkilling. Just like you got the brothers overkilling to be women, the gay brothers overkilling, you know, the sisters overkilling to be men.
Yeah.
Now, if I was to go, you know, desire to have a brother who thought he was a sister or wanted to be a sister, you know, on the real side, I couldn't deal with a lot of those homosexuals that I see and that I hear. They too arrogant, too out there, too aggressive,
Yeah.
too, you know, they ain't no, it ain't that
everything.
much woman
Yeah.
In
in a woman.
Yeah,
And they overkilling to be the woman. Come on.
They're trying to be actually a third person, a third party, a third racial group, which is what they.
They wasn't intending to do that. That's just something that came up in the recent times about them trying to get equal rights. Hey, if black folks could ask for equal rights, then homosexuals could ask for equal rights. They feel like the Lord created them as equal, if not greater than black folks. Who are black folks when they considered 3/5 of the land by the Constitution that was amended?
Right. That president promised not to change anything. That's right.
You feel where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
They have equal their rights, their how can I say it? They have equal what they feel as their injustices
Right.
to us. They've compared themselves to the Afro-American people.
Yeah, they mixed it. Right.
Not any other people, but to us.
Yeah.
You understand?
Right.
So now you got Afro-American people saying, well, that's in politics, like in the Black Caucus. Hey, there's been so much injustice done to Afro-American. We've been fighting this injustice for so long. I can't see them having their rights taken away from them. We all have our rights under the Constitution. What about the right under the divine laws?
Right.
Do they have a right under divine laws? Do you have a right under divine laws to support something against what the Lord said directly to not do?
Again.
Huh? What is right
Today.
and what's wrong?
Right.
How is it that you put politics up with the Lord's word?
Everything.
You know?
I like Holy Queen, Holy Apostle again saying, women today, back to the small thing of the jewelry as you brought up, for example. If a man buy now in this day, they not appreciative. You got me the wrong thing. That's not what I wanted.
Yeah, it's a lot of crazy.
So it's that become even. They have gone so far now. You can't even buy me anything now because they always back in the day is the thought that count. With the soul saying, it was a thought. Obviously, you ain't put much thought. Women get it. You ain't put much thought in that. You, I don't like what you got me. And offended.
Right.
Now the man, he done killed him again. Now I don't know what to get.
Yeah.
Now he's
I've
broke.
had that happen to me.
By the fact that they get them something that they've already given them the idea of them to get, they don't appreciate it because it was my idea.
Well, just think how backwards this is.
That's where it is.
A man gonna ask a woman to marry him, and then they gonna go out and pick up the ring together. That's backwards.
Well, she done picked the ring already.
Yeah, she didn't get the ring, and if
Her-
you ain't getting
that one.
if it
You
ain't
know what I'm
close
saying?
enough,
So I'm like,
Right.
what kind of relationship?
Some sisters at the job were talking. One sister got an engagement ring, another sister got an engagement ring. The sister with the better or the more pricey engagement ring saw the sister whose ring wasn't as much. She laughed at the sister ring. I'm like, yo, man, they really think much of you. Now, how you been putting that
But
into...
that's what they do with television and
There you
film.
go. There
They
it is.
put a value on material.
Yeah.
That's
Same thing with the wedding.
Because if I spend $100 on a ring, and another brother spend $4,000 on a ring, and they show those rings, my woman, if she ain't right in the head, she may feel slighted.
Yeah.
But if she got a balance, she say, well, my husband really spent more. He sacrificed more because he only had $120. When this guy he's a billionaire. Right. You know what I'm saying?
That's where it's at.
So, you could, if you deal with a balance, you look at those things. One of our problems is we still got people that don't want to let the Joneses get them down.
There you go.
Everybody trying to stay up with everybody else and they can't
Of
afford
you
it.
want to do things right, to keep up with keeping your lives tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed